EVP come through in the mind's of pride. On it big like I live in the Taj Mahal. Talk and I don't get in the blah. That's why they love enough. That's real than the chick that they talk about. Damn is the words that come out their mouth. She look good always without a doubt. Ask for it, she back and cake and now. Come on. They be watching while we wiggle around. Look at them drooling. They ain't used to the sound. I keep them moving on. My ladies, put your hands in the air. It's all right now. We gon' keep you up on your feet the whole night now. Pop them bottles, yeah, drink that up, man. Got you feeling crazy? Well, that was the plan. They was waiting for me, wasn't ready for this. He got the game sold up. No one talking about Swiss, so yeah, I know you wanna fight it, but why would you try? We got them shaking everything from the hood to the spine. Yeah, we super big, man. Why would you lie? Come on, 1, 2, 3, everybody. Get low, then pick up, get your hands in the air, it's a stick up, shake your tambourine, move it quicker, yeah, I'm shaking down the town, get the picture, moving on the floor, gotta love that, how she keep it going on, gotta love that, to the beat like a pro, don't you love that, she can shake it to the flow, gotta love that, get your hands on the dance floor, move them out the way if they ain't doing it how you want yours, you ain't got to ask me, keep it more, don't need my permission, y'all heard what you waiting for.
I'm glad the week is over. I need to get away. Go home and throw my clothes on. Come get you right away. Can't wait to see you looking lovely. I hope you're thinking of me. Cause all I want is time with you and don't need nothing more. I see you cross the room, talking to some man. I love your back and racing, baby. The way you handle them, oh, I'm so proud of you. So attracted to you too. You're so damn good to me, and everything you do, cause I am so. I'm so in love with you. I'm so in love. Oh, baby, I'm so. Listen, I'm so in love with you that I can't help myself. As long as it's me and you, we don't need nothing else. Hey, 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 hey. Let's make it last forever. I'm so in love. Ooh. First thing in the morning. Yeah. When I open my eyes and see you, I feel like a breath of fresh air. I feel like I can fly, that I can get by. Any obstacle that comes my way, I do anything for you. Cause you love, I'm so in love. I do anything, I do anything, I do anything for you. I do it, I do it, I do anything for you. Anytime it's alright, you want me, baby. No matter how. Anything you want me to, I'll do it for you. Anytime it's alright, if you want me, so to me. Oh, anytime it's alright, I'll do anything for you. Anytime it's alright. Anything you want me to do, oh, it'd be a blessing for me too. Oh, baby, oh, baby, sugar is sweet. Raindrops fall down, sunshine. But when I look in your eyes, don't want nobody else, baby.
A little change.
Everything's hot in summer.
Atlantis.
When I look up in the peace, I ain't got any speed. Baby, y'all people ain't got it like me. Hey, study these crows. You can talk what you know. The stuff talk about just let it ain't show. Y'all pull y'all y'all down just hanging up fruits. Step to the give birth plateaus. Y'all somebody else and me get so I don't brag, I mostly post. From the VA to the LA coast. Get to the When I pull up on my wheel, y'all be like, who that is? I'm driving them platinum style, y'all keep talking about that she is. I'm dripping these girls, the dirt. I never know feathers my bird, I fly like a bird. Chicken hands on the ground, who you trying to put down? Now you ain't getting loud, better calm down before I spike into the ground. I need the drum, bass, high, I need a stand, straight, horn, yes I need a temp. Sound right, left, music, look yeah. Sucker MCs, I want stupid fresh. 10% this, stay off your chest. Couple bottles of hypnotic just to wet down my tongue and say I'm what you playing me on. Me and Miss B ballin' up the avenue. Funky fresh dress to impress, we mad confused. Music biz, only reason I'm jacking food. You know, balls, walking, stacking rules. People keep brawling, the streets is calling. Drink till I'm nice and on and I'm bad luck, y'all mad cause y'all please do not try to with the
this young dog. Please don't make us tell you how much you sissy.
Once upon a time in California, where they lived like that. Yeah, the dog. There was a little chick by the name of Chris. Nobody paid him any mind, no one gave us. Nobody could rap, no one lifted a hand. Always went about his business and about the plan. Made a CD, didn't hit the block. 50,000 sold, $7 a pop. Rolled a phone. 3 years later, stepped out the swamp with 10 and a half haters. I'm all around the world on the microphone. He used to booth smelling like Burberry cologne. Still riding chrome. Got peace in the kitchen at my home alone. And he's on the grind. Please let me know if he's on your mind. And respect you. I got a headache and it's not a tumor. Get up on my lap, keep my head up tight. Spray so I never let a bed bug tight. On to the floor, go up to the right. Down to the right, pick a better guy.
Paradise lives within. A sunset of endless dusks, a river of dawns, sailing on. Paradise is on earth.
Y'all know what this is. Keep your eyes on me, apply that. Get it, don't be timid when you in it, apply that. Love a bone, give alone, leave it. I don't wanna get it, baby, spray it like it's so fine. It's like a baby, jump up on this. I guess that's why you like it, baby. Come and get this. Takes a lot to inside it, baby. Give it all you got. I'm a tough cookie, baby. Get the right side. Why you texting me? You know I won't reply. Why you ain't fuck with me when I wasn't just flying? Now I'm on top and now I'm right the sky. Don't need nobody, but I take you down the night. And now I'm okay with being nasty. You fucking hot for all these girls in bed. Somebody tripping for, but you gon' have to pay. But when you get it, lick it like you can't pay. Keep your eyes on me, apply. Get it, don't be timid when you in it, fly. Love a bomb, live alone, need it. Say I don't wanna be a baby, spread it like it's so fine. Spicy, baby, jump up on this. I guess that's why you like it, baby. Come and get this. Takes a lot to inside me, baby. Give it all you got. I'm a tough cookie, baby. Get the right side. Love it, baby. Twist it, coming. Do it like you mean it, darling. Keep it coming. Ooh, keep it running. Leave it sit. Go ahead and leave it. Swim up in it. Love it, baby. Twist it, coming. Do it like you mean it, darling. Keep it coming. Ooh, keep it running. Leave it messy. Go ahead and leave it. Swim up in it. Keep your eyes on me, apply. Get it, don't be timid when you in it, guy. Love a bomb, give along, leave it. Say I don't wanna be a baby, spread it like you said it's so fine. Spicy, baby, jump up on this. I guess that's why you like it, baby. Come and get this. Takes a lot to inside me, baby. Give it all you got. I'm a tough cookie, baby, get the right spot. Yeah, yeah. Just hit it, baby. Hit it, baby. Oh, hit it, baby. Hit it, with your feet on the air and your head on the ground.
try this trick and spin it. Yeah. Where's mine?
County, 49 homes were damaged, along with 4 roads and 1 public office building. And then schools in Winona are closed today. Again, these are just preliminary numbers. They are expected to change as more damage assessments are done in the coming days. Monroe County Board of Supervisors are making sure people there have what they need in the immediate future as they begin to clean up from the storm and work to recover. District 3 Supervisor Rubel West says he and fellow supervisors are reviewing all available resources, including aid for families. They're also developing a plan for cleanup. He says 4 out of 5 districts were seriously impacted by this tornado.
Monroe County has suffered extensive damage from the storm, and it's not just the city of Amory. It starts over about Treblock, comes through Coontail Road, crosses over in the Wren area, comes into the city of Amory, goes out into the Smithville area, and even some parts of the area.
So the top priority right now for supervisors is getting power restored to the hundreds of people there and making sure those affected have access to aid. Well, 3 days after the destructive tornado, neighbors from nearby and those from other towns are working together to collect and distribute water, food, and other essential on when the road will reopen. Meanwhile, families and individuals are still picking up pieces of their.
Believe it or not, this is a bedroom.
Now, so there are some things that you need to know. You must file an
entrance carrying 2 assault-style rifles and a handgun.
We have 3 adult victims, and we have 3 children who have been identified and their families have been contacted. I was literally moved to tears to see this and the kids as they were being ushered out of the building.
The Covenant School, a private Presbyterian school, has about 200 students from preschool through the 6th grade. The violence comes less than a year after the massacre at Robb Elementary in Uvalde, Texas.
It's hard to stop a determined person who's done their homework.
Kathy Geiger is a former FBI special agent.
She came well armed, it appears, so the intention was definitely there. And I think, the next question is, how did she get the weapons? Where did she get the weapons? Where did she get the ammunition?
Faculty and parents had previously participated in active shooter training at the school. President Biden addressed the shooting Monday afternoon.
So I call on Congress again to pass my assault weapons ban. It's about time that we begin to make some more progress.
Nashville police say the tragedy unfolded over roughly 15 minutes, and they're examining video from the campus. Cristian Benavides, CBS News.
Authorities in Nashville say the shooting suspect was a student at the school in the past. Tupelo police have made a third arrest at the St. Patrick's morning shooting at the South Gloucester Street Waffle House, and there's a twist to this. 25-year-old Javarius Trice of Shannon is charged with possession of a weapon by a convicted felon and shooting into a motor vehicle. Trice was originally reported as the victim in the shooting. Police say their investigation shows he also fired a weapon during the incident. He is a convicted felon and was on federal probation at the time of the shooting. His bond is set at $40,000, but federal probation services will be placing a hold on him and likely issuing a warrant. Tupelo police have made 2 other arrests in this shooting, and they're still searching for Courtney McHale Jamison. Courtney Jamison is wanted for aggravated assault, shooting into an occupied dwelling, felon in possession of a firearm, and felony malicious mischief. If you know where he is, call Tupelo Police or Crime Stoppers of Northeast Mississippi. Bond is set for the Columbus woman accused of killing her husband on Facebook Live. Saturday morning shooting at Green Tree Apartments. Lowndes County Sheriff Eddie Hawkins says Brown and her husband, 28-year-old Jeremy Brown, had been arguing most of the night. He tells WCBI the husband was allegedly trying to leave the apartment and defuse the situation before being shot. The entire incident was being played out live on Facebook. Deputies recovered a handgun along with a shell casing. Bond for Khadijah Brown is set at $750,000. Coroner Greg Merchant says an autopsy is scheduled for Jeremy Brown. The sheriff says this is an active and ongoing investigation. We have an update now to a story we first brought you last fall. A Noxubee County man is indicted on child sex crime charges. Jataquist Morris is facing statutory rape, grand larceny, fondling, and attempted sexual battery charges. At the time, Sheriff Tommy Roby told WCBI Morris babysat the teenage victim. Her father reported the alleged incident this past October. No trial date has been set right now.
It's one of the best ways to prevent illnesses, but many of us may need a refresher with proper hand. I'm Michael George with what you need to know.
So
to the spread of healthcare associated infections that affect 1 in 31 hospital patients. Now a group of medical organizations is updating their recommendations for prevention. Michael George has more on that.
We all know hand wash.
Up in just a little.
45-15 and 44-8 in the first two games combined. Mississippi State has lost 17 consecutive SEC games dating back to last year. The Bulldogs team ERA 6.70. That's last, and more than 0.8 of a run removed from the next closest team in Auburn.
It's hard when our bullpen ain't pitching great either. So, I've probably been guilty, and should ask our fans probably, but I've held on to our starter too long, but we haven't come out of our pen and pitched great. Like even today with Nate Doan, he's 93, 95 in the sixth. I feel like that stuff is going to pitch as good as anybody we got out there. So we got to get through. We got to pitch a little cleaner early, maybe to get us longer into games.
And Ole Miss baseball's had quite the fall from grace. 2 weeks ago, the defending national champs were ranked third in the nation in the D1 baseball top 25 poll. Last week, they dropped to 13th, and now they are unranked. Going 0-6 in conference play will certainly do that to you. The Reds were swept by number 3 Florida at Swayze Field this week.
Survivor Wednesday on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
Why would you even hire another law firm?
On the air with breaking news, what we are just learning.
To you. The Reds were swept by number 3 Florida at Swayze Field this weekend, 5.68. They've given up at least 7 runs in each SEC loss this season. The fewest runs MSU gave up in a conference game this year is 6. Now, a nightmare start for both SEC baseball programs. Again, combined 0-12. The offenses haven't really been the problem. They both posted right around a 300 batting average. It's that team ERA that we've been talking about. That is the main issue. There's still hope because
the end of the week. Next round of rain moves in Friday into Saturday, and then again on Monday of next week.
In a even EF2 tornado would look like they were in decent shape, like the one behind us there. Half the house is gone. The trees decapitated. Mobile homes moved from where they originally were and shifted away. And power lines, clearly still down everywhere with most folks still out of power. There are signs of improvement, though. As you can see behind me, the folks from Fort County Electric obviously helping out the folks here in Amory coming up. Kind of opposite of a couple months ago when we were talking about Lowndes County and all the damage they had down there. They are stringing the power lines in this area pretty much as we speak. But it's amazing to see the damage. A lot of times when we do this coverage, we go and we look at the tornado damage. There's 2 or 3 homes that just stand out above the rest. Unfortunately, in this case, so many homes, especially on the northwest side of Amory.
It says this curfew gives them the opportunity to intervene in suspicious activity.
We've had some suspicious activity, but we haven't had any looters at this point in time, and hope it stays that way. But that's part of the curfew, is trying to help protect people's belongings, because if they're not able to be there, and we see somebody out after curfew, that gives us a reason to go and intervene and find out who they are and what their business is there.
Come in, they're going to bring containers.
Also new today, reports and photos, as well as other memorabilia, are turning up in front yards, in homes, nearly 200 miles away from where the tornado first made landfall in Humphrey counties. A local woman set up a Facebook group to get them back to their rightful owners, as people find items like wedding photos, receipts, checks, documents, all kinds of things. They're posting it in this group with hopes that someone recognized the pictures and the names. Hannah Burt says that she was inspired to start the group after her home in Houston was destroyed by a tornado in 2011. A woman in Alabama found an old beauty pageant photo and was able to return it back to her, so she just wanted to pay it forward.
Still ahead on WTVA 9 News at 5, we'll take a look at another area hit hard by those storms. The city of Winona still without power and still.
As of now, many people, as we mentioned, are without power.
And right now at 5:07, you're getting a live look at powerautages.us. This reported in Montgomery County, but nearly 50 homes, 4 public roads, and a public office building were damaged. Other local places that had damage, Grenada and Prentiss counties.
Right now, we're taking a live look in Tupelo. It's been a beautiful day, 76 degrees.
Up to the top. Your job is to make sure the lights and more work in and outside of the building. I had the opportunity to go to a future job site for workers.
You heard that, did you? Because I sure did. And I thought it was funny. Because the bitch could get up and walk after I got through.
Timmons Electric in Tupelo. It's the Regions Bank in downtown. Team members at Timmons Electric explained the bank will get new solar panels installed to bring power to the building. Louis Mariscalco, division president for the Lee County market, talked with me about the new solar panels.
To bring efficiency and, of course, there's lower cost with solar power. This helps us be a little more efficient and green in our community.
But a bank like Regions is just one example of where you may work as an electrician.
We work for retail companies, restaurants, and factories.
Mike Timmons owns Timmons Electric. He says his company works on places you're no doubt familiar with: Chili's, CVS Pharmacy, Belk, and shops in the mall at Barnes Crossing, just to name a few. They do outdoor lights, including street lights, and projects inside. They do jobs within about a 60-mile radius around Tupelo. But Timmons says they are willing to go farther.
We work for third-party companies, and that's who hires us to go in these retail stores.
He says electricians don't need degrees. You can learn on the job, but any schooling does help. Keep in mind, though, education and experience will make a possible employee more likely to get the job than someone who does not have it. Timmons says younger people can take advantage of a work program in high school. Tupelo High School has a Tupelo Career Technical Center work-based learning program.
Offices. We'll be right back.
Hell yeah, it was Miss Allen that taught me that shit. You're right, bitch. It was.
Emily here on Calton Drive, which is off of Highway 20.
Yeah. All I needed were the basics to know what the fuck you're doing right now. Obviously. I don't need a fucking college degree to know what you're doing right now. I just needed the fucking 6 months up in Miss Allen's class. So program away, bitch. I also know none of the bitches around me even qualified to take that class. So, therefore, being the facts.
And one for Andrew.
Oh my.
Hand in hand on the way to being reunited with their parents. Authorities late today calling it a targeted attack. And what we have now learned about the suspect, Alex Perez, with late reporting from the scene tonight. Also tonight, we're on the scene here in Mississippi. The staggering path of destruction. The National Weather Service confirming this was an EF4 tornado. At least 170-mile-per-hour winds on the ground for more than an hour. At least 22 people killed in these tornadoes. And tonight, what we witnessed right here on the scene, the families, the remarkable survival stories, and what we have just learned tonight about the victims, the lives lost. Lindsay Davis here with their stories. And the news storms now tonight. Senior meteorologist Rob Marciano with the forecast. Overseas tonight, we're monitoring the potentially dangerous situation in Israel. Massive protests in the streets of Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. Major unions going on strike. Outrage over Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's push for a judicial overhaul, and the defense minister then fired by Netanyahu. Tonight, what the Prime Minister has now done to try to restore order. James Lohman in Tel Aviv. Here in the U.S., the grand jury investigating former President Trump and the witness returning today. What does this signal? John Carl standing by tonight. President Biden briefed on the chemical spill near the Delaware River, triggering a major water safety scare across Philadelphia. The deadly explosion at a chocolate factory in Pennsylvania, the blast captured by Fox 29 Philly. And tonight, the new discovery. And back here in Mississippi tonight, the hope amid so much pain.
From ABC News, this is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, reporting tonight from Rolling Fork, Mississippi.
And good evening tonight.
If you gonna force me to watch this bullshit, you are going to remove me from the fucking ignorance that surrounds me. And I mean that.
From Mississippi, where we are on the scene of unspeakable devastation, one tornado on the ground for 59 miles, 70 minutes of horror, and you can see the scene right here behind me playing out in neighborhood after neighborhood here. The remarkable survival stories, and you'll hear them in just a moment. We're also learning at this hour about the victims and their stories. Unfortunately, tonight we do begin with yet another horrific story playing out in the South, a deadly school shooting at an elementary school in Nashville. 3 9-year-olds and 3 staff members shot and killed by a shooter who police have just identified as a 28-year-old woman armed with at least 2 assault-style weapons. They say it was a targeted and premeditated attack. The suspect was shot and killed by police. Authorities say the suspect shot through a door at the Covenant School, a private Christian school for some 200 children in pre-K through 6th grade. At 10:30 this morning, police receiving word of an active shooter rushing to the school, hearing gunshots, confronting the shooter. Within 14 minutes, it was over, but not without the terrible toll left behind. Tonight, the image of small children holding hands as they're taken by bus to be reunited with their parents at a different church. The haunting face of one of them, a little girl crying on the bus. And as I mentioned, the shooter has now been identified tonight, believed to have been a student at that school at one time. Tonight, investigators say they are looking at video from inside the school and that they have visited the suspect's home looking for a motive. ABC's Alex Perez leading us off tonight. He's on the scene in Nashville.
Tonight, investigators in Nashville asking what led a 28-year-old woman armed with assault-style rifles to break into this Christian school and open fire, killing 3 innocent children and 3 adult staff members.
They got a jet active shooter out of school.
At 10:13 a.m., the first call coming in, law enforcement racing to Covenant School. 5 officers enter and hear gunshots coming from the 2nd floor.
They immediately went to the gunfire. They saw a shooter, a female, who was firing.
There's multiple victims down inside the school. Shooter is down now as well.
10:27 a.m., 14 minutes after that first call, 2 officers confront and kill the shooter.
Even in
Even in a remarkably fast response, there was not enough time. And those guns stole precious lives from us today in Nashville.
Late today, police identifying those killed: Evelyn Dickhouse, Haley Scruggs, William Kinney, all 9 years old. Catherine Coons, 60, the head of the school, according to its website, and Cynthia Peak, a substitute teacher, and Mike Hill, a custodian, both 61.
I was literally moved to tears to see this and the kids as they were being ushered out of the.
The devastating images: small children moving single file, holding hands, terrified faces seen through school bus windows. Parents anxiously looking for their kids, running through parking lots, gathering at a nearby church, and supporting each other in prayer.
We just need to embrace those that are grieving, because we grieve with them at times like this.
Police identifying the shooter as 28-year-old Audrey Hale from Nashville, who at one point may have been a student at the school. Authorities say she identified as a transgender woman. Investigators finding a vehicle nearby, helping them identify the shooter. Officers are searching her home late today, finding maps of the school property and writings the shooter left behind.
This tells you about someone whose total identity was wrapped into committing this mass shooting.
According to police, all doors of the school were locked. Armed with 2 assault-style rifles and a handgun and multiple rounds of ammunition, Hale, police say, gained entry by shooting through one of the doors, moving from the first to second floor, firing multiple shots as she went, until she was taken down in a lobby area on the second floor. And tonight, President Biden addressing the nation after yet another school shooting, calling it sick.
It's ripping our communities apart, ripping the soul of this nation, ripping at the very soul of the nation. And we have to do more to protect our schools.
And Alex Perez joins us from the scene tonight. And Alex, police say they do have that video from inside the school. What more are you learning tonight?
Well, David, this is a private school, so there was no resource officer on the property, but they did have an active shooter protocol in place. Investigators have interviewed Hale's father as they work now to pinpoint an exact motive. David?
Just an awful story playing out today. Alex Perez on the scene in Nashville for us. Alex, thank you. And we turn now to the deadly tornado outbreak. And we have just learned tonight that the National Weather Service has now confirmed it was more than 15 tornadoes across the South here. The worst of them struck right here in Rolling Fork, Mississippi. It was an EF4 with winds of 170 miles an hour, one on the ground for 1 hour and 10 minutes, 70 minutes straight of pure terror here. We have witnessed today all of the images, the damage, the devastation. Homes here are now piles of rubble. The town's water tower on its side. Massive trucks here, tractor trailers tossed on top of one another. Families today trying to save what they can, but every home here is gone. Piles of wood and metal remain. We have spent this day with the survivors, some who described their homes being lifted off of their foundations while the families were inside huddling together. They don't know how they survived this, just as we also learn now about the lives lost. Tonight, as we walk through the streets of Rolling Fork, Mississippi, it is inescapable. The unforgiving power of this EF4 tornado, winds reaching 170 miles per hour. Every tree sheared off, every home destroyed. Heaps of wood and twisted metal now serve as the only markers where homes once stood. The families here have lost everything. You can literally see every tree snapped in two, and all of the homes, the rooftops off of them, most of the homes completely wiped away. And over here is just one of the many cars in this neighborhood lifted up and now upside down on top of what was a home. We see a husband and father, Sam Jackson, trying to salvage anything he can find. They were inside when the tornado hit. They could feel the home lift and then collapse. They all survived under mattresses. You found the flag? He shows me the flag his wife bought for Veterans Day. It's unbelievable that the house is destroyed, but the flag, there's not a tear in it. Not a tear in it. One of their sons, Armin, was on a college trip to Washington, D.C. He first learned on social media that his home was destroyed, his neighborhood gone, but he had to wait to learn if his family had survived. He raced home. What did you say to your mom?
Oh, I just told her I love her.
I mean, it's nothing you couldn't say. It's just a blessing.
A real blessing.
Yes.
So this was your fireplace.
It was.
And this is just about the only thing still standing.
Yeah, it is the only thing still standing.
And placed on top, his trophies found by his father.
How much do these mean to you?
Well, it mean a lot to me.
This was one of the small churches here in Rolling Fork, what's left of it. And you can see out in front of the church, the bell still sitting here, the Mount Herald Church, established in 1908. This is a familiar sight just to the side here, a semi flipped over, just sitting on most of this church now. And if you look up from the sky, you can actually see it's a familiar thing all throughout this neighborhood, showing the sheer force of this EF4 tornado that blew through. These tractor trailers that were simply lifted off the ground and then dropped back down on top of one another. It's a scene you see repeated over and over again, street after street here.
The horror played out Friday evening here after dark. The National Weather Service issued a tornado emergency, the most urgent warning for a particularly dangerous situation. 8:03 p.m., the tornado was on the ground here at Rolling Fork.
It's that big tornado, big wedge!
AccuWeather capturing these images. It is difficult to see in the darkness glimpses of the massive tornado bearing down. And then moments after the tornado passed, the urgent effort to reach people trapped and injured, and they would soon learn the many who did not survive. Southeast of Tupelo, Mississippi, another tornado emergency. The meteorologist at WTVA recognizing in real time while on the air the danger his viewers were about to face.
Oh man, like north side of Amory, this is coming in. Oh man. Dear Jesus, please help them. Amen. Okay.
The power of the winds as the tornado strikes a high school, the debris falling from the ceiling. And tonight we now know here in Rolling Fork, it was a powerful EF4 tornado that carved this devastating path of destruction 59 miles straight across Mississippi, 170-mile-per-hour winds up to 3/4 of a mile wide. And it was on the ground here for 70 minutes.
Everything is gone.
Yes, everything.
Dana Williams and her husband own two businesses here, a convenience store and her beauty shop. They were still open when the tornado hit.
Have you thought about what you're going to do?
We're the only Black business owners in town. We kind of grew a bond with our community, you know. So it's just a total loss. Total loss. We were actually still open and working when the tornado came through. It was a sound that I would never forget. It just sounded like a train just coming through, just coming straight at us. And my husband just said, just get down, get down. I got down and he got on top of me, and it didn't even last, not even probably like 30 to 45 seconds. And just all the glass just busted and the roof collapsed, and it was just horrible. It was.
It's a miracle you're still here.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Tonight, with President Biden already declaring a major disaster here, ordering immediate emergency assistance, federal funding, authorities are on the ground.
I would just say that FEMA is here. We remain committed to the people of Mississippi. We will be here for you now. We will be here for you next week. We will be here long after these cameras are gone to make sure that we are assisting you with all of your recovery needs.
And tonight here, a powerful image we have been unable to forget. A man walking amid the devastation here with a lone suitcase, all that he has left. Erwin Macon.
What do you say to people who have seen that image now of you in just a suitcase?
Well, they just show us how quick, your life can turn around. How fast things can leave. But you got to just be strong and pick yourself up. Smiling a little because I'm still here. Despite losing, that stuff don't matter. I'm still here.
And while talking with so many of the families here, the volunteers. That college student home hugging his mother first, now learning how to accept help. He says that's been difficult too. Volunteer Janice Rowerk from Operation Barbecue Relief.
We did 300 meals Saturday, 300 Sunday, and we're working them more now. And we're going to have them supper here later too.
They not going to let you go without.
No.
She's not going to let you say no.
She's not.
No.
Janice tells Armin she'll be back. Thank you, Janice.
So thank y'all.
Thank you, Janice.
All right. Bye-bye.
Angels walking around, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
A lot of.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
The volunteers, the angels, and they are going to need the help here. They're going to need the country not to forget this tragedy, given the need here already. Tonight, we're also learning at this hour some of the names, the stories of the victims. Lindsay Davis is on the scene with me tonight on that part of the story, the lives lost.
Tonight, we're learning about some of the victims of the devastating tornadoes that shattered communities across Mississippi. Ethan Herndon's family says he was a gentle giant. His wife, Elizabeth, and their 2 children are still in the hospital. Mary Barfield Bush was a grandmother. Her niece told ABC Mary was a sweet and caring soul with a beautiful smile that lit up the room. Then there was Melissa and Lonnie Pierce. Lonnie's son told ABC they were together for nearly 25 years and that Melissa turned my dad's life around and they were a great team.
We finally found them over here laying under that 18-wheeler. You know, he was on his back and she was just laying beside him with her arm on him.
Of Wanda Early, her daughter, said there wasn't anything you couldn't ask her and that her mom was willing to do whatever to help someone out.
And Lindsay, I know you've been on the scene as well right here with us today, and you know that for the people who've lost loved ones, there are so many families here collectively embracing them because everyone knew everyone here. And I know you just spoke with FEMA officials on the ground here in Mississippi, and they understand there is enormous need here.
They certainly do. For those who are still living in the midst of these mounds of misfortune, really, I think is what it is, David. FEMA wants them to know that help is available, that they are on the ground, even for those who are uninsured, which is all too often the case in a number of these scenarios, David. Sharkey County is one of the poorest counties in the country. 35% of the population is at or below the poverty line, which could make the recovery effort all too great, David.
Which is why you're going to be here this evening, anchoring throughout the evening. Lindsay, thank you. Lindsay will have much more later tonight on ABC News Live, our digital streaming channel. In the meantime, that same tornado that destroyed this community right behind me and what you saw there behind Lindsay moments ago also blew through a nearby town called Silver City, and it was deadly there as well. That's where we find senior meteorologist Rob Marciano. And Rob, I know that you learned of loss there, and you're also concerned about the new storms on the way now.
Yeah, David, there were 3 fatalities here, one of which was a 2-year-old baby girl. She was in a mobile home with her family. Her 7-year-old older cousin still in the hospital tonight in ICU fighting for his life. We've spoken with their family. It's just heartbreaking. And yes, we do have another storm on the way. It's hitting the West Coast tonight, Oregon, California. It'll spin through the Bay Area with 65-mile-per-hour winds, more flooding, possibly some power outages tomorrow and into Wednesday. Then energy gets into the plains, a huge chunk of a severe weather setup both Thursday and Friday. Tornadoes possible, and that does include Mississippi. David?
Yes, the system potentially coming through again through this same region. Rob, we thank you for your coverage tonight and the last week following the system all the way to this point. Thank you. Our coverage, of course, of the deadly tornadoes here in Mississippi and across the South. And we're going to have much more later right here during this broadcast. We are going to move on, though, tonight to the potentially dangerous situation playing out in Israel after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu tried to push through changes to the judicial system, an overhaul, taking some power away and then firing his defense minister. Well, today, tens of thousands coming out into the streets of Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, major unions now going on strike. And then late today, Netanyahu now postponing those changes. Our foreign correspondent, James Longman, in Tel Aviv tonight.
Tonight, people power on Israeli streets. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu dealt a rare defeat, finally relenting to pressure and agreeing to temporarily pause his plans to reform the judiciary. He told the nation, "I'm not ready to tear the people apart. We're in the midst of a crisis that endangers the basic unity among us." After a night of violent clashes, the day began with tens of thousands out protesting once again. The country's largest unions striking for hours.
Israel
seen a movement like this. After weeks of protest, people feel they're finally on the cusp of something.
And this is a battle they say they cannot afford to lose.
What do you think is at stake?
Democracy. Everything that I was raised to hold dear. I was raised in the United States and I studied law. And I came to this country and I have my ideals that I grew up with. And I'm not willing to see them torn to shreds.
There have been more clashes on the street here tonight, David. The opposition says a temporary freeze on these reforms isn't enough. They want them gone for good. David?
Just extraordinary what we're witnessing in Israel. James Longman in Tel Aviv. James, thank you. Back here in the U.S. now, into that Manhattan grand jury, weighing charges against former President Trump involving hush money payments to Stormy Daniels. Today, the panel hearing testimony from David Pecker, the former publisher of the National Enquirer. ABC's chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl in New York tonight.
David, as a former publisher of the National Enquirer and a longtime friend of Donald Trump's, David Pecker is a key witness to the investigation into those hush money payments that Trump made to porn star Stormy Daniels shortly before the 2016 election. Daniels had attempted to sell her story about having an affair with Trump to the Enquirer. Instead of buying it, Pecker instead directed her to then Trump lawyer Michael Cohen, who arranged the payoff at the heart of this case. He may be able to shed light as to why Trump wanted to buy her silence so close to the election. This was Pecker's second appearance before this grand jury. He also testified back in January. It's unclear when the grand jury will make its decision about whether or not to indict the former president. David?
All right, John Karl in New York tonight. John, thank you. When we come back here, real concerns at this hour over the drinking water in Philadelphia and the areas around the city. Chemical spill near the Delaware River, triggering this water safety scare. President Biden briefed today. We do have news tonight coming in from city officials there in a moment.
I'm your overly competitive brother. Check. Psych. And I'm about to steal this game from you, just like I stole Kelly Carter in high school, huh?
You got no game. Dude, that's a foul.
And now you're ready to settle a score. Game over. And if you don't have the right home insurance coverage, well, you can end up paying for all this yourself. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem. Yeah, like me.
Thanks, bro.
Take a lap, rookie.
Real mature.
Martial arts is my passion. I work out whenever I can. But with my moderate to severe eczema, it can be tough. My skin was so uncomfortable. The itching was so bad. Now I'm staying ahead of my eczema.
There's a power inside all of us to live our passion. And Dupixent works on the inside to help heal your skin from within. It helps block a key source of inflammation inside the body that can cause eczema, so adults can have long-lasting, clearer skin and fast itch relief. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor.
Healing from within is a powerful thing.
Ask your eczema specialist how Dupixent can help heal your skin from within.
Got a feeling I can't escape it. Feeling good, but yet the great, 'cause I reinvent.
For the life you're making, Etsy has it.
Bert, you won't faze me. Unlike Zyrtec, Allegra won't make me drowsy.
Allegra starts working 2 times faster than Claritin. So take Allegra before allergy symptoms take over you. And Allegra Hives works from the inside to relieve itching and reduce hives for 24 hours.
Well, we turn tonight to those real concerns about the safety of the drinking water in Philadelphia. Residents now stocking up on bottled water following a chemical spill near the Delaware River. City officials tonight insisting the water will be safe until at least tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. is what they're saying now. That's when river water taken in after the spill then passes through the treatment facility. That water expected to reach people's homes by midday tomorrow. Still no word on what happens beyond tomorrow other than bottled water. The water department tonight saying there has been no sign of contamination so far. We'll stay on the story. When we come back here, the deadly explosion at a chocolate factory in the Northeast and what we've learned.
Want luxury hair repair that doesn't cost $50? Pantene's Pro Vitamin Formula repairs hair, as well as the leading luxury bonding treatment for softness and resilience without the price tag. If you know it's Pantene.
Tonight, the death toll now stands at 7 from the powerful explosion at a chocolate factory in West Reading, Pennsylvania. Ops 29 film capturing video of the blast Friday night. The bodies of 2 people previously considered missing found in the debris. The cause of that explosion now under investigation. When we come back here, the powerful images we witnessed right here on the ground tonight.
I used to pre-rinse dishes because my old detergent didn't actually get them clean. But new Cascade Platinum Plus has me doing dishes differently.
Scrub, soak, load. I just scrape, load, and I'm done.
Only Platinum Plus is bigger, with double the Dawn grease fighting power and double the scrubbing power. So you can load this and get this. I'm not the type to break the dish rules. Or am I? Scrape, load, done. New Cascade Platinum Plus. Dare to dish differently.
When pain says I'm here, I say, so are they. Just want to leave. 12 hours of uninterrupted pain relief. Aleve, who do you take it for?
Every March, Jersey Mike's turns money from subs into charitable donations.
And March 29th is Jersey Mike's annual day of giving, where 100% of sales are donated to local charities.
And to kick off all that giving, Peter gave me an apron. I'm honored.
Looking good, Danny. We've got subs to make, though.
Yeah, now I know why you gave me the apron. Join us this Wednesday for Jersey Mike's Day of Giving. Be a sub above.
These used cars look the same, but Carfax can show how damage history affects the value.
Your damage has always been visible.
We're twins. Stop. Hey, shop at the all-new Carfax.com.
Identical twins.
You didn't live this strong, this long, to get put on the shelf like a porcelain doll. But 1 out of 2 women over 50 will suffer a fracture from osteoporosis. You should know you can build new bone with Evenity for postmenopausal women with osteoporosis at high risk for fracture. Ask your doctor if you can do more than just slowing down bone loss with Evenity. Want stronger bones? Then build new bone. Evenity can help in just 12 months. Evenity is proven to reduce spine fracture risk by 73%.
Evenity can increase risk of heart attack, stroke, or death from a cardiovascular problem. Do not take Evenity if you have low blood calcium or are allergic to it. Serious allergic reactions and low blood calcium have occurred. Tell your doctor about jawbone problems, as they have been reported with Evenity, or about pain in your hip, groin, or thigh, as unusual thigh bone fractures have occurred.
Don't let a break put you on a shelf. Talk to your doctor about building new bone with Evenity.
I count on personalized financial advice from my Ameriprise advisor. She knows my goals and can help me reach them with confidence.
The markets may fluctuate, but you're still on track.
More than 9 out of 10 clients are likely to recommend us. Ameriprise Financial.
I struggled with CPAP every night, but now that I get the Inspire implant, it's making me think of doing other things I've been putting off.
Like removing the tattoo of your first wife's name.
Inspire. Learn more and view important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
I've made mistakes. Is it too late?
He leaves with me or he leaves with Gabby.
Make the decision.
I won't be meeting Zach's family.
This is so painful. How does this happen?
Before we go, in the image, a torn photo hanging from a tree here, a powerful symbol of the suffering families forever changed, and we'll stay on it. Good night.
Medical Minute, brought to you by the Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi.
I'm Dr. Lizzie Gibson. I'm an orthopedic surgeon who specializes in elbow, wrist, hand, and microsurgery. Remember, at the Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi, our story is you.
Did you know some of the most in-demand jobs in our area don't require a college degree? For welders and plumbers to carpenters and mechanics, opportunity is everywhere. WTVA 9 News wants to help teens and adults get on the career path that's right for them. Become skilled to work, intern, apprentice, or take classes offered in your local high school or community college. Go to WTVA.com to learn more. Sponsored by Northeast Mississippi Community College. You can't buy a best friend, but you can adopt one.
'Cause we're connected.
If you're buzzed and doing this to make yourself feel okay to drive, you're
And you're totally doing the walking motion.
Correct. So inspiring to see Jeremy up on his feet and moving around. All right, big question for all of you. What do Stephen Colbert, Vin Diesel, and Anderson Cooper all have in common? They all love Dungeons and Dragons, and they are not alone. It was recently estimated that 50 million people have played the game since its inception in 1974. So clearly there's a massive audience for Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, which, by the way, hits theaters on Friday. Our Wilmar Fuji was at their big premiere with Chris Pine and Hugh Grant.
Talking about working with Chris, not only as a performer, but as an EP on this project. I never knew he was my boss. I haven't treated him with the deserved respect in that case. Would you go back and change anything had you known that? I wouldn't do the film, frankly.
never put your trust in a con man.
Hugh plays a villainous rogue standing in the way of a band of criminals trying to stop an evil force.
Oh, I got a good feeling about this.
A true role-playing fact.
Each month delivered to your home at absolutely no cost to you, including free shipping. Call 800-791-5108.
Telling your story. WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Hundreds of people in Monroe County continue to clean up debris from the storms, while many may have seen pictures. It's hard to understand the extent of the damage and what the county is facing.
It really is. And Keely Shields has been following this story since the weekend. And today she talked to local leaders about the Twisters' impact on the city and county. And she joins us with our story. Keely?
That's right. Being a Monroe County native myself, it was shocking when I came to Amory today. I mean, there's literally a car under a tree right there, but pictures don't do a bit of justice. I talked with the District 3 supervisor, and he says wards 1, 2, 4, and 5 took some of the biggest hits.
It's going to be a long-term recovery. I have no idea, knowing how long.
What were once homes are now piles of rubble. And the effects of Friday night's tornadoes aren't just being felt in the city of Amory. District 3 Supervisor Rubel West says several parts of Monroe County are also hurting today.
Monroe County has suffered extensive damage from the storm, and it's not just the city of Amory. It starts over about Treblock, comes through Coontail Road, crosses over in the Wren area, comes into the city of Amory, goes out into the Smithville area, and even some parts of the Hatley area.
The Board of Supervisors met today for an emergency meeting. Several things were on the agenda, but all of the damage has them left with one big question.
What are we going to do with all this debris? And we got the county landfill, which we service the city of Amory also, but we have extensive debris out in the county. Some time ago, we started opening up a new cell. And that new cell is supposed to take us like so many years, and we're trying to make sure that we can accommodate all the what we call the construction damage, plus the limbs and stuff like that.
Almost 3 days later, Amory and other areas are still without power. West says crews are working tirelessly and have made good progress, but they have a lot of ground to cover.
The city of Amory representatives or something. 50% being up.
This sounds like a
that means a little over 50% still out. Well, you can divide, as you go back north,
I don't get what the fuck.
Probably
you sound like a bunch of fucking
of those people in
idiots.
the northern part of Amory are still out. Most of those people in the county are still out of power.
The severity of the damage has also been attracting unwanted attention from sightseers. That's something Amory Police Chief Ronnie Bowen and his officers.
What the fuck are y'all? Is this a rich man's government?
Like,
without homes and parts of the city destroyed. And you saw there, people have been donating supplies, money, and time to help.
And Takia Cummings was in Amory today to check on relief efforts.
I'm really just of taxpayer age. Y'all started me paying taxes early. I was in my 20s. Y'all started me
people have lost a lot,
head
but they
with
still have hope and resilience.
taxes. 50% of my check coming out with taxes every 2 weeks.
Typically got 20 pine trees all around, and there were none left standing. The trees were blocking the house
And y'all
on top of the
bought
house, and so yeah, I didn't even recognize my own house.
People who are just happy to be alive.
I've cried, so I just can't cry no more. I'm crying for the ones that ain't got nothing, that have lost everything.
I remember you, girl. I am not lying to you.
I'm crying for myself to be thanking God for still being here.
After the tornado hit Friday night, the call for help went out. Over 1,500 houses were damaged, leaving many families without.
Ooh. Yes. You better not. If you hit 300% and see if they'll take 60% out of your check. That's why I did not hit 300%, baby. No, ma'am. I am not doing 300%. Two at the max.
We know how to handle
Two at the max.
We know. Everybody has everybody's back. And with the good Lord's strength and everybody else's kindness, we will rally and we will come back stronger.
If you want to donate and don't know what to give, there will be a suggestion list on WCBI.com.
All right, Takia, thanks so much for that.
Great Lord,
Individual
the
assistance
taxes,
from
y'all,
FEMA has been approved for storm victims in
They
Mississippi.
too high if
The
you
disaster
poor, and
recovery
they
centers
too
have
high
not
if
yet
you rich.
opened, so you can get a jump start on your FEMA paperwork. And there are a few things you need to know. You must file an insurance claim first. You have to also report
the
your
government
damage
is too
to the Mississippi
expensive.
Emergency Management.
Man, the people does it take to give out $300 trillion in 2 days?
Today we got to see some fairly mild temperature.
Oh.
Returns as part of the Burns Bottom Arts Festival, Friday, March 31st on College Street in front of Leadership Plaza in downtown Columbus. Channel your inner Brando and shout up to Stella on the balcony. Sign up at 5:30. Shouting starts at 6. Stick around afterward for live music and fun. The Stella Shouting Contest returns Friday, March 31st. Call 662-328-2787 for more information.
Carl Hogan Chevy GMC aces the competition with the lowest price. We're
Oh, baby. Fuck you.
The situation before he was shot. The incident was played out live on Facebook. Deputies recovered a handgun along with a shell casing. Bond for Khadijah Brown is set at $750,000. Coroner Greg Merchant says an autopsy is scheduled for Jeremy Brown. Hawkins says this is an active and ongoing investigation.
Tupelo police make a third arrest in the St. Patrick's morning shooting at the South Gloucester Street Waffle House, and there's a twist.
How about this angle got missed? The mother of 2 teen mothers. The mother of 2 teen moms.
5-year-old Javarius Trice of Shannon is charged with possession of a weapon by
those aren't to be favored.
Convicted felon and shooting into a motor vehicle. Trice was originally reported as the victim in that shooting. Now, police say their investigation shows that he also fired a weapon during the incident. He's a convicted felon and was on federal probation at the time of the shooting. Trice's bond is set at $40,000, but federal probation services will be placing a hold on him and likely issuing a warrant. Tupelo police have made 2 other arrests in this shooting, and
A sweet memorial. Child, y'all is too much.
Number 2C, Carl Hogan Toyota. Is Carl Hogan Toyota. So it looks like we're going with Carl Hogan Toyota. We got the best deals on new Toyotas.
And on our Toyota selection.
Carl Hogan Toyota, the working man's friend.
There's only one Mississippi, and there are thousands of lawyers in Mississippi, but there's only one Richard Schwartz and Associates.
With offices all over the state, we come to you as quickly as possible. Protecting you.
Yeah,
from
right. She don't run me
insurance
buying that
companies.
next time from us. What's up?
Because we understand how important it is to get you
God.
what you need immediately.
She don't know about God necktie.
One firm, one Mississippi, one call, that's all.
Papa John's Pizza is now hiring. Positions are available, so apply today at careerspj.com. Text 0933 to 31063 or scan this QR code now. Serve your community. Earn dough with Papa John's Pizza. Missing teeth? Tired of dentures? We can help. Call now to receive custom dental implants at a fraction of the cost. Sedation and financing available. Your implant consultation is free when you mention the code Aberdeen Implants. Call 304-2600 today.
We love to see you smile.
Your WCBI First Alert Forecast with Ashley Bryant.
Welcome back. It is 6:17, and we have seen a mostly clear start to our last week of March. As you can see, we're seeing just a little bit of very.
That's got to be the dumbest job ever created. Tommy.
Bit of very light cloud
The
coverage.
Tommy knockers. Yeah, yeah. The Tommy knockers. I said the Tommy knockers. Whew. The Tommy knockers. Stephen King. I love that. Oh, my eye. I'm trying to think. Oh my yes. Is this thing okay? Oh
Welcome.
by Gilead Sciences.